every disease, every sickness, every symptom today is because of some kind of a toxic burden, because there are now hundreds of thousands, if not millions of toxins that we were never designed to be exposed to or excrete at the rate that we have been exposed to them. So your body needs extra support. Most people have never gone anywhere close to the depth that we do in our detox protocols. Health practitioners that don't remove this, the source of these things are the deepest ones that most people don't even consider. Because why? Doctors are not trained that toxins are the root cause of disease. They're not taught to look for these things either. They're not taught to look for heavy metals in our mouth in the form of silver fillings. They're not taught that oral cavitations or implants or root canals in your mouth are a huge source of toxic load and illness for our body. In fact, 75% of chronic disease today begins in the mouth. If you're not removing the source of toxic load, then you're not going to get rid of the toxins in the body.
You're listening to Cleanse, Heal, Ignite podcast, and I'm your hostess, Diane Kaiser, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, former pro soccer player, transformational leader, holistic healer, and life purpose coach, helping you and your business awaken to your full potential. We are a transformation tribe of visionaries empowering passion-quenching, heart-centered advice to wellness warrior leaders on self-love, nutrition, mindset, and divorcing perfectionism. Our mission is to help you laugh your way to a sexy belly, love your way to vitality, and live your life with purpose by sharing real talk and truth drops that will help you cleanse your body, heal your hormones, and ignite your life. Side effects of this podcast may include all-day energy, happy hormones, perfect poops, increased confidence, becoming your own best healer, and catching the self-love virus. There's currently no vaccination to protect you from this and no known cure. In most cases, listeners experience a strong desire to accept new challenges, ditch toxic people, follow their heart, and dance like no one's watching. If you experience moods happier than usual, live it unapologetically and share with your social media friends immediately.
Hey warriors, let's talk about detox, because in the last week, I have been talking to several clients who have come to me because they have been busting their ass trying to heal their body, but they have just been misinformed as to how to properly detox, how to properly cleanse their body, heal their trauma, ignite their inner purpose. And it's very important to understand that the greatest source of all illness today is toxicity. Toxicity causes inflammation. Inflammation causes disease. Disease causes symptoms. So we've all been taught to mask symptoms with medications, and we never get to the root of why you're feeling so sick. So today we're going to talk about toxins. And usually when I make these videos, it's because I have talked to so many clients and my mind is blown as to what they're being told today, the things that they're being forced to do too quickly. And they have worked with so many smart doctors. And the thing is, it's not about doctors are God and they know everything. It's about, I want you to become your own greatest guru and to truly understand the art of proper detox, which is not being taught properly. And I would say 98% of people who are leading detoxes, which is me 10 years ago, I didn't know these things either. So today I want to talk in this video about the top 6 detox fails that I have been repeating to my clients every day, that when you can clear these things and when you could actually take implementation and take charge of your pathways and your drainage pathways and your detoxification routine, then you will finally be able to heal. I'm seeing miracles in the work that I'm doing with my current group of detox clients. Our next one opens up August 3rd. So if any of this calls to you, speaks to you, I'll tell you how to get on the wait list for that, because you can apply. I don't just work with anybody. It's very important that I'm aligned with every person that I work with. And I lead women group detoxes, but I also work with men on the side. So it doesn't matter, what age you are, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, but I'm here to help everybody. And I want to share something that I also created recently that will be fresh and hot off the press for the next group of warrior detoxers that starts in August. So here's number one. The number one fail that I see several clients that I've worked with many doctors and they're paying good money for. And these are alternative, functional, holistic, naturopathic doctors who don't take insurance. So you're going to pay top dollar for this. I'm trying to help you prevent these mistakes by doing it right the first time. Okay. So one of my clients this week, this is where this list came from, of my talking to clients the last week and realizing that this is what my lessons for each one of them were that I'm going to impart upon you, so that hopefully you don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. On the average of what I see, 10 different doctors before clients find me. They find me when they're really sick. Unfortunately, I'd like to have it be the other way around, that before you get super sick and spend a lot of money, that you just come to me and say, Diane, I want to help detox the proper way. Okay. So number one, this is a fail. Doctors who don't understand detox, or any health practitioner that don't truly understand the comprehensive approach to detox and force it too quickly by giving you supplements that most of you aren't ready for, like high dose vitamin B, that are way too strong of what's called methyl donors that cause you to have shakes or heart palpitations or anxiety. The best way I describe it is it feels like your body just has really high blood pressure, like things are going too much and you have, it could be in your brain that you feel it. You can have, you're too shaky. You can't recover. You can't rest. And what happens there is that many people have an MTHFR genetic mutation. I have double homozygous. I got one for my mom, one for my dad, which means that if I force detox too quickly, and if I take B vitamins without focusing on drainage as well, then all that those B vitamins are going to do is just going to cause me to feel more anxious, and I'm not going to get very deep sleep. You should be getting 8 hours of sleep every night, rested without waking up in the middle of the night, even if it's to pee. If you have to wake up to go pee, or if you wake up and then you're like, oh, I guess I better pee. Either one of those things is not good. You should be targeting for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night, uninterrupted, completely waking up rested. And if you're not, you have toxins in your body that are causing your hormones to be disarrayed. So I'm going to show you exactly a list that I created on some of the reasons why you might not be sleeping properly, but you should only be peeing every 4 hours. So you shouldn't need to get up multiple times throughout the night, and you shouldn't be going to pee every hour on the hour. There's something going on in your kidneys, and you probably need to excrete some toxins or negative bacteria in your body. The second one is detox protocols without drainage. So the client that came to me that I spoke with this last week, she had a doctor that gave her this B vitamin, really strong B vitamins, and she still had her breast implants in. So when one still has their breast implants in, and I helped her on this journey, she recently explanted, she's still taking this methyl donor supplement, but it's too much for her because we're still working on repairing her hormones, repairing her gut. Her body is in a state of crisis because we had to remove these big sources of toxicity that were in front of her heart in the form of breast implants. So her doctor was well intended, but this doctor did not have any clue about breast implant illness, or how breast implants can cause your drainage pathways to stagnate. And so you can't clear pathways. You can't open up the detox pathways when you have these things blocking your lymphatic drainage pathways, right? So detox protocols are really great, but it needs to, number one, start with drainage. This is the number one thing I see most people doing, including how I used to lead detoxes 10 years ago, is if we try to force toxins out of your body when your pathways are not clear, then all you're going to be doing is moving toxins around your body, and you're going to feel sicker and you're going to quit, right? So detox is only going to work if you have proper drainage. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of money and you're going to get angry that it didn't work. And most of you are trying to reverse broken brain, energy drain, weight gain, and body pain. That is a sign. Those are all the classic signs that your body's toxic. And then right now I'd say at the root of every disease, and I mean intentionally, every disease, every sickness, every symptom today is because of some kind of a toxic burden, because there are now hundreds of thousands, if not millions of toxins that we were never designed to be exposed to or excrete at the rate that we have been exposed to them. So your body needs extra support. Detox right now is as important as exercise. It's as important as eating healthy. You can't get optimal health. You can't achieve optimal health and get rid of any symptoms or sickness or suffering without daily detox in some way. I call it ABC, always be cleansing. So drainage is important to do alongside detox, because otherwise detox will not work. And I'm talking from your lymphatic, making sure that you're opening up your lymphatic ducts all day. And most people are doing this the wrong way too. Dry brushing is great and rebounding is great, but those are not enough to detox your lymphatic. There's extra things that I talk about in my detox, as well as you want to make sure that you're urinating every day, every about 4 hours. You got to be pooping twice a day, and it should look like a banana, and it shouldn't take a lot for you to push out. It shouldn't be difficult. You shouldn't have little alien things called hemorrhoids popping out of your butt either, and you shouldn't have constipation or diarrhea. Most people do not have healthy bowels. They have bipolar bowels. So 2 times a day, a banana long size, and it should be brown. Most people are not accomplishing that without taking coffee to stimulate a bowel movement, right? And then the third thing is sweat. Many people don't sweat properly. We're not working out as much as we used to. We're not sweating as much as I recommend you sweat 30 to 45 minutes every single day. Get a really hardcore sweat on to the point that if you didn't shower, you couldn't slip a dress on. That's how sweaty I want you to be every single day. Most people are not moving enough, right? So we got to talk about all these things. So drainage is critical. And the last part is breath. Did you know that 70% of your detox happens through your carbon dioxide that you exhale? 70%. So many of us have been masked for the last year. I've only worn a mask a few times, which is to fly on an airplane. Otherwise, I have had a mask exemption that has worked in most places. Otherwise, I just don't go shopping in the places that have told me I can't exhale properly without having my mouth covered. So it's important to understand that your detox pathways are your breath. And if you've been wearing a mask the last year and a half, it could be one of the primary reasons why you're not feeling so well, or maybe why your lymphatic or why your detox program did not work. Okay. So detox programs do not work without someone properly and concurrently, simultaneously educating you on how to instigate your own drainage pathways and to keep them open, not only when you're detoxing, but for the rest of your life. Okay. So you might not need a whole bunch of detox protocols and programs and products in the future if you just keep your drainage pathways open and prioritize them. Okay. Number 3. Many people are giving you protocols that exclude mental, emotional, and spiritual healing, and they just focus on the physical. And here's the thing. If you have emotional blocks, mental blocks, that it's not going to work. Or if you have trapped trauma or hidden hurts, broken beliefs that are stagnant in your body, they cause some kind of a knot in some kind of an organ, like anger expresses from the liver when you have stagnancy in the liver. And in the kidneys, you might have sadness or fear or sorrow. And that's stagnant and trapped trauma in the kidneys and in your lungs. It's grief. So according to traditional Chinese medicine, we have a lot of trapped, suppressed emotions that we've been taught to not feel because it's bad to have emotions. And don't feel bad, stop crying. These are all things that get suppressed in our body. And so we have these stagnancies. So drainage can also be emotional or mental drainage. So those are also equally important. There's something called retracing. So when you're detoxing chemicals from your body, you're also detoxing traumatic chemicals that leave your body with that. So it's really important that you have 2 by side. You're releasing trauma and you're releasing toxicity, because if you're just releasing toxicity and you're not prepared for the releasing of the trauma at the same time, you're going to have memories come up and you're going to not be ready for that. So it's important to work with a practitioner or a team or a protocol that lasts for a long time, 3 months at least. That's why my protocols are 3 months. So that you can have someone there who's equipped to support you on the emotional freedom techniques. And this is stuff that I do in my protocol. My clients have access to me, what I call 8-5 instead of 24/7. They have access to me 8 hours a day, 5 days a week when we're going through a 3-month detox. Because if you're just taking the products or if you're just seeing a doctor once a month, then you're going to be on the appointment treadmill and you're going to have 1 session treadmills, but who's going to be there to support you in between? Doctors will charge you, $100 or so for a 5-minute email. So it's really important to have support with this because these things all leave at the same time. And then the 4th one is that physical healing protocols that are single function focused are not going to serve you because your body is 11 systems. And if we don't focus on healing you holistically and detoxing you collectively, then something is going to stay stagnant and stuck in your body. And so what I mean by that is that let's say that you're just getting treatments on the gut and you're just getting maybe 1 stool test and you're just looking at maybe just pathogens and you're going on a bug killing spree, but that's actually not even addressing the whole terrain. The terrain drives in the bugs. The terrain rolls out the welcome mat that brings the bugs in. So if you just kill the bugs, but don't focus on the terrain that brought them in, bugs are just going to come right back. So that's one thing. People are also not properly training, healing the gut. And I have a 5-hour protocol and I take a look at seven different functions on the GI maps that we're using. And these are mapping out your entire stool testing, looking at inflammation, immune system dysfunction, imbalances in your gut, intestinal dysbiosis, and other different things that are causing your gut to rot. and to attract bugs in. And so if we're just focusing on the gut without also addressing toxins, then we have a problem, because here's what's going to happen. When you go on a detox, your body dumps toxins into the gut. That's one of the pathways that your body clears toxins through, right? And 95% of the bile, 95 to 98% of the bile that's released from your liver will latch onto fat-soluble toxic waste. And it takes it and it dumps it into your colon. It says, all right, now poop it out. But here's the problem. If you have constipation, which is usually because you have hormonal imbalance, or you have some bugs that are not properly, that are causing constipation because you're releasing toxic waste into bowels, then the problem is that all of that work that your liver did to release bile, to carry toxins down to the gut, it gets absorbed right back through the hepatic portal vein, and it goes right back to your gallbladder. So now the gallbladder is containing these fat-soluble toxins that are now in the gallbladder. No wonder why our gallbladders, the number one procedure performed in the emergency room for women especially, was a gallbladder removal, because our organs are sick if we're not able to excrete toxins out as fast as we are accumulating them. And so when your body is dumping toxins into the gut, what's going to happen is anything that can't leave the body, it needs to be mopped up by something, right? So what happens is, well, think about animal rotting on the side of the road. What decomposes it? Bacteria, right? So your body is so smart that will actually recruit and increase your level of bacteria in your gut to decompose any rotting waste material in the gut. It will also attract parasites to mop up the mess of heavy metals, because these parasites are really good at being the bottom feeders to clean up the mess. Now, the problem is many people go on a gut healing protocol or a parasite killing spree, but they don't simultaneously go on a detox to bind to the heavy metals that the parasites, when we kill them, explode and leave their waste all throughout the gut. So if you imagine like a piñata, right? And you take a bat to the piñata, that piñata, when it explodes, it's going to be candy all over the place, right? In this case, when we swing a bat to the parasites, then those parasites are going to release everything that's contained in them. Inside of parasites are candida, which is a fungus. Inside of parasites are a ton of heavy metals as well. So we've also got to take heavy metal binders when we go on a parasite killing protocol or a candida busting protocol or a biofilm disrupting protocol, all of which we put our clients on extensively and personally based on what their labs say. So we take the parasites, we kill them, we mop up in the mess, escort it out the body. We take the metals that they excrete, bind them, mop up the mess, clean them out of the body, while also focusing on drainage, right? So as you can see, this is not, it may sound difficult as I'm explaining it to you, but when you're a client and you are well-versed in this because you're fully committed, because you can actually see what is happening inside of you and why you have symptoms, because it's correlate to the lab tests that we can see, then you feel like you're in the game because it's now customized to you. And it's not just about taking supplements, it's about looking at what's really happening underneath the surface, because now you can see it on a lab test. And now you're excited to do something about it. And you're excited that you finally have some answers, right? This is how I felt. And this is how so many of our clients feel when they work with us. They're like, oh my God, this makes total sense why I had bacterial vaginosis or candidiasis, or why I had UTIs, or why I had bloating, or I couldn't lose weight, or whatever the case was, or why I couldn't stop eating. Because guess what? Candida, it's a fungus, or any kind of fungus we see in the gut, which we see so many of our clients have, that says, text messages your brain through the vagus nerve and says, we need more sugar. Because candida loves sugar, loves it. So when the candida eats sugar, it off-gasses a ton of waste. So many people, they go on a candida diet, but they don't simultaneously address the heavy metals that are lodged inside of these candida bodies. So it's important to work with your gut and toxic load and to clear them at the same time without overloading your body. But the most important piece to that is the third aspect, which is to address your hormones. So many people go in to get, they work with a hormone expert, and you get a hormone test done, right? And you go to your hormone doctor. and they give you bioidentical hormones or hormone replacement therapy to balance your hormones artificially or exogenously without addressing the reason that they're imbalanced in the first place, because aging is not the only reason for it. There's many other root cause factors that cause your hormones to go out of whack. And, just a short list of them is what I told you that I would show you here. So here's the short list that I created. It's called the toxic lifestyle factors blocking your immunity, energy, and beauty, energy, and immunity. And you can see here, we got toxic foods, toxic water, toxic over-the-counters, supplements, toxic home, toxic air. It's kind of hard to see these yellow ones here, but when you see it on a piece of paper, it's not that hard to read. Toxic schedule, toxic numbing devices, toxic clothing, toxic EMFs, toxic energies, toxic gut, toxic oral care, toxic beauty and cosmetics, toxic female hygiene. The list literally goes on and on. So all of these things are causing some kind of a stress response inside of you, right? And they're going to spike your cortisol and they're going to drain you. And whenever you have high cortisol, which is your stress response, your body creates cortisol to put the fires of inflammation out. Now, whenever your body has a high demand on cortisol, it's going to do something called the pregnenolone steal. It's going to steal the pregnenolone and that your body would have needed. It's called a progesterone steal in this case, because what your body would have used as progesterone now gets used for the cortisol pathway. And so now you have low progesterone. And guess what progesterone does for you? It helps you with your energy, your beauty, and it helps you with your immunity. So many women, we call it the antidepressant. So it is your antidepressant hormone. So many people today are just low in energy and they feel drained and just lethargic in general. And they get on antidepressants instead of looking at, wow, maybe my progesterone's low. And not only taking progesterone exogenously, but also wondering, what is causing so much stress in, on, or around my body that my body is depleted from just progesterone because my body has to increase cortisol. So this is really important to focus on your hormones, right? Because these things that I just showed you are many root cause factors that cause your hormones to go out of whack. And just focusing on detox without considering the gut, which is where toxins dump into your hormones, it takes a lot of energy to detox. So without healthy hormones, detox is really difficult and can backfire on you. The fifth one is working with protocols that are built on limited information. So you may have seen me talk about this before, but if you've only done blood tests, or if you've done blood tests that you're told are normal, or you've done blood tests with limited markers, excluding important key markers. Like when we were working with thyroid clients in my practice, because I had thyroid disease, I had Hashimoto's, and I reversed it myself through my detox protocols and healing my gut and balancing my hormones. And I think that this is what we all have access to. Of course, your doctor's not going to tell you that's possible, at least your allopathic doctor. Your alternative care doctor might recommend some things to do that, but it might not be getting to the root causes and lifestyle factors. So there are things that are important to look at, which is, you're a full thyroid panel, which we're looking at reverse T3. We're looking at iron. We're looking at ferritin. We're looking at Epstein-Barr, not just a past history. We're looking at a current exposure or an onset that's on its way to building up. It's important to look at homocysteine. It's important to look at cortisol. It's important to look at your inflammation markers, your B, not just B vitamins, but also what's going on in the gut. What's going on if you have really high levels of B vitamin or B, like B12, that shows up on a blood test, it might mean that you have SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which is a series of bugs that we've got to get rid of in your small intestine. It's bacteria in the wrong place, right? Let's just say it like that. I've been hosted as an expert on several SIBO panels, and I had SIBO myself. So if you're giving B vitamins to the body because you appear as B deficient, but you have bugs that are going to eat the B vitamins, what good is taking the B vitamins? It's actually going to make you feel worse. Just like my first point here, like I talked about with my client, she feels worse when she takes these B vitamins. So we're now looking at perhaps a root cause imbalance in her gut, where maybe there's a lot of bad bacteria that are eating her B vitamins and causing off-gassing inside of her small intestine. Also, if you have low iron and you just take iron, you could be feeding bad bugs too and proliferating their growth. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this, but when we're looking at all of these things all at one time, then we can treat the whole body at once without having to go in and out and being on the revolving door of doctor visits and treatment protocols, right? So the blood tests are extremely, extremely limited when you're just using them. And you're going to see multiple doctors and they're going to continue to run a CBC panel on you. And they're going to say that they checked your thyroid. But really, for the most part, it's been very rare that I've ever seen someone get a full thyroid panel tested properly. So if you're just doing blood tests and that's all that you've ever been basing your healthy body on, and a doctor says, oh, you're perfectly normal, everything looks great, you're the perfect picture of health, but you don't feel like it, then we've got to dive deeper. I think everybody needs to focus on detox every single day because most doctors are just not looking deeper. And the last thing I'll say about the blood test aspect is that doctors run or let's just say labs are created based on this wide reference range, right? Where do reference ranges come from? What created reference ranges? Let's just say vitamin D. The reference range is between 30 and 100 on most panels. Sometimes I see them between 20 and 80. It just depends on what state you're in and depends on what doctor you're working with. But most times you're going to see between 30 and 100 or 30 to 80. But most of the times it's 30 to 100. And they'll say if you're within those ranges, you're fine. Where do you think 30 to 100 even came from? Who are the average people going into a hospital? They're usually what? They're either sick or they're the elderly, or they're sick and elderly. So they collect the average people go into the hospital and they make these reference ranges based on sick people. So do you want to be a sick person? Which is, they'll tell you that you're normal, even if you're between 30 and 100, you're normal, being that this reference range is only predicated information gathered from sick people? Or do you want to feel badass and you want to feel almost superhuman? Like you are immune strong, you have natural beauty because you're taking care of your body from the inside, and your body can produce enough energy for itself where you don't have to grab, things like supplements or caffeine or coffee from the outside because you're so exhausted, right? So that is how they create these reference ranges. Just to give you an example, the optimal range for vitamin D is between 60 to 100 when you're working with a functional medicine expert. We're working with optimal ranges. That is exactly what we do in my practice. So while I am not a doctor, know that I have seen people who have worked with the most famous, the most well-known, the best well-intended doctors with expensive protocols, $1,000 per hour sessions. They have been on things like Dr. Oz or Oprah or whoever on TV. Just because they're an MD, just because they have been in practice for a long time, just because they have treated lots of patients does not mean that they know the best for you. In fact, it's very important to work with somebody who's a lot of care for you, who has 3 things. And I write about this in my Killer Breasts book: education, experience, and empathy. They've been through this themselves. They've been through the trenches. Why would you want to work with a health practitioner or doctor who does not appear to be healthy, or who doesn't have good, healthy energy that vibrates high that you really can feel when you're talking to them, right? So it's really important that they've worked with thousands of patients. That's the experience factor. And especially if they've worked with patients who have symptoms or sickness or suffering that you are personally experienced, and you wonder if they have treated them successfully, right? And then that's also where the empathy comes in. If somebody has been through it, they can have compassion for you going through it. So I've had many people talk to me and they say things like, well, if you're following the protocol I gave you, then it should be working. So you must not be doing it right. And I'm like, yeah, right. Thanks for the shame bomb. I have been doing it exactly as you told me, and I still don't feel well. So maybe instead of your limited consciousness, you could dive deeper and do some research for me to see if maybe there's something else that's going on. Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's another reason why my protocol's not working, and it might just be because my body is so toxic, right? Or maybe we dive deeper with labs. So what I'm telling you right now is that most people have never gone anywhere close to the depth that we do in our detox protocols. And then the last one is that health practitioners that don't remove the source of sickness, suffering, stagnation, and hence stuckness and suffering. What I'm talking about as the source of these things are the deepest ones that most people don't even consider. Because why? Doctors are not trained that toxins are the root cause of disease. They're not taught to look for these things either. They're not taught to look for heavy metals in our mouth in the form of silver fillings. They're not taught that oral cavitations or implants or root canals in your mouth are a huge source of toxic load and illness for our body. In fact, 75% of chronic disease today begins in the mouth. So if you're not removing the source of toxic load, then you're not going to get rid of the toxins in the body. So here's what I mean by that. I work with so many people. I've worked with thousands of people, and a huge percentage of them have come to me and said, I tried this detox. I work with this doctor with their hormone protocol. I did this gut healing protocol. Literally, you guys, tens of thousands of dollars, tens of doctors. And guess what? This person still has silver fillings in their mouth. You should not be going on a heavy metal detox protocol when you still have silver fillings in your mouth. Ever. I repeat that. Do not take zeolites. Do not do a detox protocol when you still have silver fillings in your mouth. Why? Because if you're taking supplements, it's going to remove, that work anyway, are going to remove these, let's say mercury and aluminum from the silver fillings, but now it's going to move around and get toxified in your brain. And now you're going to have a high neurotoxic load. So do not do that until you've removed the source from your body. And that also goes for breast implants. It also goes for breast implants. So yes, I do work with clients who still have silver fillings and they still have breast implants, but I work with them until we could form a bridge, until they have the time, money, energy to remove these things, because many people I work with are too sick to remove these things and their body would go into complete shock. So we have to build that bridge. We have to build the metabolism. We have to balance the hormones. We have to get the detox pathways open. We have to improve drainage so that when they do remove these sources, the body has an open freeway to remove them. So imagine trying to get somewhere in LA or New York traffic at 4:00 p.m. on a Friday. If it usually takes 2 hours to get from Orange County to LA, which is where I used to live, then it's going to take 6 hours. When you're stopped on the freeway, you are not going anywhere. So imagine toxins are no different. If your bowels are not open, toxins go to the back of that line and they're not going anywhere. So if the toxins can't get out fast enough, just like you do when you're in traffic, you're like, oh, screw it, I'm turning it around, right? You go back home because you don't want to sit through the traffic. Toxins will do the same thing if you don't have your drainage pathways open. So I can't tell you how many practitioners, the most well-intended, bright, brilliant practitioners that help their patients with detox without removing these massive sources of sickness, suffering, and stagnation. Those would be heavy metals and silver fillings, breast implants, neurotoxins trapped in the brain. It also means glyphosate. We have protocols for glyphosate, which is in our food. You can't just keep eating GMO food and wonder why you're still not losing weight or you have better energy, because a lot of these food sources contain a lot of the toxins, right? So it's important that we also consider all of the sources of toxins. Now, if you've ever had your breast implants removed or you've ever had your heavy metal fillings removed and silver fillings, and you haven't detoxed properly after that, that would also include you, because you still have the source of the residue. Because having these fillings, the longer you've had them and the more that you've had, the more that they have been trapped in the brain. And if you've not done a full-on protocol to go straight into the cells, to fix the cells, to detox the cells and repair the cells and remethylate so that your cells are constantly making energy for themselves, you have never truly detoxified the body. Because many people say, oh, I removed my breast implants, check, I'm done. I'm free, I'm clear of no more toxins. The longer you've had these breast implants, the longer it will take you to heal. So for every month you've had breast implants in, the general rule of thumb is it will take you 1 month to heal. So if you've had them in for 10 years, it'll take you 10 months without doing anything extra to heal. But I take my clients, if you've had 10 years worth of breast implants, I amplify that and can help you guys heal within about 3 months. Heal and detox with your own self protocol that I teach you how to listen to your body. And then the other things are things like mold. So many neurotoxins get trapped in your brain. Those are being accumulated by mold in your home, toxic water, toxic food, or even non-toxic food, but maybe it's toxic to you because it's something that lives inside of your body that is causing a reaction, like parasites. So parasites can cause a lot of food sensitivities. So that's why we look in the gut too, to see if you have parasites. But going back to number 2, parasites are there because they have to beat them up with a mess of metals. Remember, I talked about that in number 2 here. Or parasites I might see on people's stool tests because maybe they're a people pleaser. A lot of us have been taught to give our power away, to allow people to suck the life out of us because we want to feel like we're loved or we're seen or we're part of something, right? We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of people being angry at us if we don't give ourselves away. We put ourselves last. We give everybody else our life first, and then we're now energetically exhausted at the end of the day. Okay, so I want you to know that too. That's why it's important to look at energy medicine as well, because if you're not healing energetically, then you might still have a large amount of parasites in your body sucking life out of you. That is reflective of your outer environment. There might be people in your life that are parasites leeching your life and energy out of you too. So there's also a few important things to note as well. Like if we continue to rely on detox supplements and kits and products and protocols only for our source of detox, our future of health is in great jeopardy. And I'll give you an example of that. N-acetylcysteine, NAC, one of the most powerful antioxidant precursors that there is out there. NAC is a precursor to what's called glutathione, the master antioxidant to your body. Like that is your powerhouse antioxidant. But the thing is that the FDA is mandating that NAC be pulled off the shelves or gradually decreased in formulas like the ones that I've created in my Chi supplement line. So one of the ones that I have, my multi, which is called the Beauty Builder, they've decreased it from 500 milligrams to 400 milligrams. Eventually, they're going to phase it off completely because the FDA is going to take everything that we will heal from and turn it into a drug so that we can only get it when prescribed through a doctor. And when it's prescribed and it's in a medicine, it's going to have a ton of other toxins inside of it so that your liver has to do work double time. And they're going to mark it up. They usually mark it up. Like cinnamon. Cinnamon is something that they created. They copycatted the DNA structure of cinnamon and added some extra things to it in a lab and called it metformin. And now it's being sold thousands of times higher than cinnamon. And we can't say that anything cures anything because we don't have those patents. It's pretty disgusting what's happening. So NAC is being pulled off the shelves, you guys. That's what's in a lot of detox supplement protocols. So the focus on number 6, i.e. health practitioners that don't remove the source of sickness and suffering, the focus on number 6 needs to be paramount. It's not just about detoxing what's in your body. It's important to consider the source that's dumping toxins into your body and causing them to multiply. So that would be the silver fillings, that would be the breast implants, that would be vaginal meshes, that would be IUDs. So what I like to teach in my detox groups is in 3 phases. Number 1, drainage first. You got to get your exit pathways open. Number 2, you got to detox your body and remove the sources within it that contain toxins. Number 3 is to detox your environment, the source of toxic load, which includes physical, emotional, and chemical. Toxins can be toxic people, including the bully bitch within, right? So what I want to impart upon you in this video and on others, on this podcast and in my protocols is it is more important than ever to learn how to use food as medicine, your mind as medicine, and your emotions as medicine to activate your higher self and that powerful warrior, empathetic leader within. Because for moving forward, supplements are going to become less and less accessible to us. Know that your body is always talking to you. And when you start to remove these toxins in your body, your auric field becomes lighter, your hormones balance, your gut becomes healed, and you start to remember your dreams. The dreams that you have when you're asleep will help you to build the dreams that you want to activate and follow and accomplish in your waking state. You're here to experience that inner purpose, to remember who you are. And you are here to listen to your body because your body talk will, when you detox, become clearer. And in this sense, you become a master of your own field. You become your own doctor, your own guru, and your own best friend. So I would like to invite you to bypass all of these 6 fails. And instead of going out and trying them all on your own, to invite you to another way, a better approach, and a personalized protocol that can help you to help yourself now and for the rest of your life. Because who knows how long we're going to have access to healthy and clean water. I'm going to teach you that. Who knows how long we're going to have access to healthy food. And I'm going to teach you about how to do that too. And also how to properly detox that bully bitch within so that you could positive self-talk and finally allow your body to heal by clearing the sources of nasty self-talk, because you have to believe that you can heal. Step 1 to healing and detoxing is to believe that you can and you deserve to be fully cleansed and healed. So we start on August 3rd. Apply now. I don't work with everybody. And if you just want to take these tips and run with them and learn from them, that's fine too. But I only work with those who I feel called to work with. But if this video spoke to you, if this podcast spoke to you, go to warriordetox.com or explantdetox.com and apply to work with me. If you're on the page now and you can see the prices, you can pay now, and I will review your information when we get the payment. And I only have a limited amount of space for 25 people for this detox. So once we fill up, we fill up. And if you came here from someone else referred, thank you so much. I'm Diane Kaiser. It's nice to meet you. I am a holistic health coach. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And I'm just a woman like you, has suffered through a lot of stupid decisions that I've made that I now say the stupid decisions have led me to my sovereignty. So I hope that you choose me, and I hope to choose you in a partnership starting August 3rd of 2021. If you miss this one, we will have another one because we have them every 3 months. Then I take a break and then we have them a month later. So I look forward to helping you on this healing journey. And if you want to just do the detox, you can do that. Or if you want to do the customization where we focus on toxins, as well as your gut, as well as your hormones, as well as all of your emotions at the same time, then you could focus on Plan B, which is my platinum package, and you will get access to my entire team. But there is nothing out there like this that leads you through a detox where you have access to me fully in between all of the meetings and the sessions. You have access to me in a group, you have access to me in biweekly webinars, and you have some one-on-one calls as well. So this offer does not last very long. We usually fill it pretty quickly, and who knows how long I'll be able to lead these detoxes because the FDA is changing things all the time. And their tricks are going to get more fierce, more dark, more toxic. So the sooner that you get this done, the faster that you'll be equipped and enabled when more toxins are thrown your way. So I don't say this to scare you. I say this to aware you. Just jump right in. Warrior Detox, explantdetox.com. It'll be the greatest journey that you have ever taken on your life to work on you through all the self-love and all the tactics. You will see a ton of testimonials from other people that I've worked with over the last 10 years as I've been working on these cleanses and detoxes that will inspire you to take the plunge yourself. And if you think money is going to get in your way of your health, know this. If you don't focus on your health now, you're going to be forced to focus on it later. And insurance companies are offering less and less support. They're paying for less and less, especially if you got the jab. They're taking that as an excuse to not cover you if you have symptoms and side effects. So just know that there's only a very limited time that your insurance companies are going to even allow you any kind of support. And most doctors today do not take insurance that are good. And that includes me, but we do teach you how to deduct this stuff on your taxes or include them as medical expenses. And they can be included on your ESA and your FSA. So if you have a big pile of money that you've been saving into your flexible spending account or your employee savings account, you can use this money to pay for your detox. And so we could talk more about that as well. If you have any questions at all, just make sure you follow the links below. You know how to get a hold of me, and we will take care of you from there. And share this with your friends, because if you have some that you can be held accountable with in this group, it makes a lot of sense, and it makes it more fun. When you have an accountability buddy, you're more likely to get 3 times better results. I'm Diane Kaiser, and always remember to ABC, always be cleansing. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If this episode really tugged at your soul and you're ready to have your personal breakthrough, we would love to have a heart-to-heart with you to get you crystal clear on 3 things. What do you want? What's standing in your way? And how do we get you to your soul goal in the fastest time possible? Visit my site, dianekaiser.com/call to schedule your free 1-hour connection session with one of our warriors to map out exactly how you want to look, feel, and live. We've helped thousands of women warriors just like you all around the world free themselves from the symptoms and suffering they never thought possible. And you just might be our next success story. Talk soon.